Okay, this week we deal with the primates, the order Primates. If you remember when we dealt with the Dermoptera and the Scandentia, the colugos and the tree shoes, they were in the same clade with the primates. And the clade was called the Euarchonta, which is part of a bigger clade, the Euarchontoglires, which include the glires, which are the lagomorphs and the rodents, which we will be getting to before too long. Any case, so with this week we'll be filling out the clade Euarchonta. The order Primates has quite a bit of diversity in it. It's about 450 species or so, divided into two suborders that we're going to deal with. The suborder, the Strepsirrhini, and those are the lemurs, a number of families of lemurs on Madagascar, but also lorises and galagos, which are found in Africa and are across Asia, parts of India and Southeast Asia and the Philippines and so on. So we'll deal with the suborder Strepsirrhini first, but it also includes the suborder Haplorhini, and the Haplorhini are the I'll call them true monkeys, if you will, but they're more than just monkeys. They're the tarsiers, they're the Old World monkeys and New World monkeys, and of course the great apes, which includes humans. So, as I said, the first group that we're going to deal with is this Strepsirrhini. And to deal with the Strepsirrhini, there are 7 families of lemurs, dwarf lemurs, things like the aye, an amazing creature, also the galagos and lorises. Unfortunately for this order, and not surprisingly, we don't have very much material for the order Primates. And what we do have is by way of bone clones entirely. The skull we're looking at right here is a chimpanzee skull, which we will get back to. It's a Haplorhini, of course. We're going to deal right now with the Strepsirrhini, and in particular, we've got a skull here for a lemur, a ruffed lemur. And this is in the family Lemuridae, and the species is variegata rubra, the red-ruffed lemur. And here's the actual skull of this organism, or the clone of the skull at least. So you can see, you've seen other skulls that are somewhat similar to this. This is actual clone of an actual lemur skull. I'll zoom in on it in a moment so you can see more details. One thing you'll notice here is there's a bit of a post-orbital process here around the orbits. It's on the upper skull, part of the skull. And here you see the teeth underneath. You can see that it's an omnivore, eats a lot of fruit, and so the thing's got a broad palate. Let's take a look at the lower jaw as well. Like I said, I will zoom in on it in a moment. This is the lower jaw, and you can see that it's fairly broad as well. See where it's flared out. Angular process of the lower jaw. That's very different from what we saw in marsupials. So let's zoom in a bit on this. Actually, before I zoom in on this, I want to, I thought I'll show you another Uarcontan mammal here. That is the colugo. Remember, they're called flying lemurs as well, but they're not lemurs at all. So we'll put the two of them out here side by side. The colugo skull is quite different to the lemur skull that we have. Okay, if you remember, we saw this 2 weeks ago. You know, well-developed canines on top. They eat a lot of fruit, but they're kind of omnivorous as well. But they have an actual bar that goes all the way around the orbit. See, they've got more binocular vision than the lemur, and they need it. These are gliding mammals. They want to have good accuracy when they're gliding from tree to tree. So this is the colugo, or flying lemur, but it's not a lemur. And remember, the very distinctive feature of the colugo skull is the pectinate lower, the lower incisors, the comb-like lower incisors. So that's flying lemur. Let's try to zoom in on this. See the lower jaw. This is the red-ruffed lemur. There are a lot of great photos in your textbook, but I don't think there's a red-ruffed lemur. I'll take a look in a moment. Okay, let's turn the skull around here so maybe we can get in focus if it'll stay steady on the lower part of the skull. Very distinctive shape. So again, comparing these two here side by side, you can see that the orbits are very different. Your textbook contains some other some great photos of some other members of this suborder. The Strepsirrhini. It includes lorises and galagos. Galagos are also called bush babies, and these animals are found in all of the lemurs are just found in Madagascar. They were isolated in Madagascar, but galagos are found in Africa. This one here is found from southern Somalia to Tanzania and Kenya. Garnet's greater galago. And lorises are found, the red slender loris. This one is native to India and Sri Lanka. And they have a very interesting ecology, and I think they're mentioned in the Attenborough video as well, because they have some very interesting behavior. There are many wonderful photos in your textbook for the order Primates. So that's enough about the suborder Strepsirrhini. Now we're going to move on to the Haplorhini, but first we'll look at the tarsiers.